Modern Honda reliability. Civic, Accord, CR-V. Turbo engines, CVTs, eHEV hybrids. Some people still say, it's a Honda, they run forever. Others say, new Hondas aren't what they used to be. So what's actually true in 2026? I'm GearHead. I don't care about nostalgia or hate. I care about what's in the metal. Engine design, transmission choices, known weak points, and what starts failing after 80,000 to 150,000 miles. Make sure you're subscribed because this is an engineer's breakdown of modern Honda reliability, not a trip down memory lane. Let's break it into 4 big buckets. Old school Honda reputation, meaning why it exists, the problem years, which is where Honda slipped, the current tech, including turbo engines, CVTs, and eHEV hybrids, and what I'd actually trust with my own money. Go back a bit to the Civic and Accord with D, B, and K series engines, 5-speed manuals and automatics. There were no turbos, no direct injection, and no hybrids yet. Those cars were light, simple for their time, overbuilt in critical areas like the blocks, heads, and valve trains, and often owned by people who didn't thrash them. They'd take neglect, bad fuel, and still do 200,000 plus miles. That reputation of just change the oil and it'll run forever was not a meme. It was mostly earned on naturally aspirated engines with reasonable power, conventional automatics, and manual gearboxes that could take abuse. But modern emissions, fuel economy regulations, and customer expectations changed the game. Honda had to adapt. That's where things get more complicated. There are 3 main pain points in the modern Honda story. First, early CVTs. Honda's move from 4- and 5-speed automatics to CVTs gave better fuel economy and smoother around-town behavior. But some early CVT generations, especially in certain Civics and Fits and Jazzes in the 2010s, had bearing and belt issues, overheating when fluid was ignored, and shudder and slip when owners followed lifetime fluid ideas. They're not universally bad, but they're more sensitive to fluid quality, level, and temperature than old automatics. Some owners learned the hard way at 80,000 to 120,000 miles. Second, integrated motor assist, or IMA hybrids. Before the eHEV, Honda ran IMA in Civic and Insight hybrids. It had a thin motor sandwiched between the engine and gearbox, a small nickel metal hydride battery, and the engine was always mechanically connected to the wheels, with the motor only assisting. The problems were that the battery packs degraded relatively fast compared to Toyota hybrids. The assist faded as packs aged, and some owners needed battery work sooner than they expected. IMA is basically the early experimental phase of Honda hybrids. Good idea in theory, less robust than Toyota's system in practice. Third, variable cylinder management, or VCM, on V6s. VCM shuts down cylinders under light load to save fuel. On paper, brilliant. In the real world, some engines ran too cool in some cylinders and too hot in others. This led to oil control ring coking, plug fouling, and misfires and oil consumption issues over time. The fix for a lot of owners was to disable VCM with a muzzler device and treat the engine like a normal V6. So modern Honda had some real missteps. That's where new Hondas aren't what they used to be comes from. But that's not the end of the story. Let's look at modern Honda engines and hybrids and where they stand now. First, the 1.5-liter turbo, the L15B7 at its family. It's used in a lot of Civics, CR-Vs, and regional models. The pros are strong torque for its size, good efficiency on paper, and it's smooth and quiet when healthy. The controversy is that early versions, especially in cold climates with short-trip city use, had fuel dilution issues. Owners noticed the oil level rising, a fuel smell in the oil, and potential long-term wear concerns. Honda issued software updates and in some markets extended warranties. Later calibrations are better, but the basic advice stands. If you drive all short trips and never get the engine fully warm, the 1.5 turbo is not ideal. If you do mixed or highway driving and change oil on time with proper specs, it's much better. Would I put my own money into a 1.5 turbo Honda for the long term? Yes, but only if my use wasn't all city and I was disciplined with oil changes. Second, the 2-liter Atkinson cycle hybrids in the eHEV. This is where modern Honda rescues its reputation.
In the Accord Hybrid, CR-V Hybrid, Civic Hybrid, Jazz and Fit Hybrid, and others, you get a 2-liter Atkinson engine, optimized for efficiency, and a 2-motor hybrid system with a generator and a traction motor. It has series-dominant operation at low and medium speeds and direct engine drive at highway speeds. The engine characteristics include lower peak cylinder pressures than a turbo. It mostly runs in efficient RPM and load bands. The electric motor covers low-speed grunt, and the engine doesn't thrash itself to do everyday work. So there is less stress on rods, bearings, and pistons, and a good chance at high mileage if fluids and cooling are respected. In my view, modern Honda hybrid engines in eHEV systems are closer to the old bulletproof Honda than some of the newer turbo gas stuff. Third, the eHEV transmission side. In EV or series mode, the power flows from the engine to the generator, to the motor, and to the wheels. In direct mode, it flows from the engine to the clutch and fixed gear to the wheels. There is no multi-gear slush box or belt CVT in the eHEV. From a long-term reliability view, fewer gear sets means fewer wear points. There is one clutch for direct drive, not a stack of them, and most of the heavy lifting at low speed is done by the motor, not gears. So far in the field, eHEV systems are behaving well beyond 100,000 miles, and there is not a flood of motor, clutch, or transmission failures. That's a very good sign for modern Honda reliability. Now let's compare Honda CVTs now versus then. Current-gen CVTs in the Civic, HR-V, and others are better than early 2010s units, but still less bomb-proof than a Toyota eCVT or a simple torque converter automatic. Keys to CVT survival are to change CVT fluid on a realistic schedule, like 30 to 60,000 miles, not lifetime. Avoid chronic overheating, like towing with no cooler or constant heavy load, and don't ignore shudders, flares, or high RPM weirdness. If you drive gently and service them, they can go long. But if we're comparing a Toyota eCVT planetary hybrid versus a Honda belt CVT in a non-hybrid, Toyota still has the cleaner mechanical solution. What about the body, chassis, and feel at 100,000 plus miles? For modern Hondas, the pros are that they are structurally solid, especially on the Civic, Accord, and CR-V. Interiors hold up decently, and newer generations have improved materials. Suspension components are standard wear items, not uniquely fragile. The cons are that rust can be a concern in snow and salt belts if not washed underneath. Some cheaper models show interior creaks and rattles as they age, more so than a Lexus or Toyota at the same price point. But none of that is uniquely catastrophic. At 100,000 plus miles, a modern, well-maintained Civic, Accord, or CR-V should still feel mechanically tight, need basic stuff like struts, bushings, and maybe a wheel bearing or two, and not be on its third engine or transmission. So is modern Honda still reliable? The short answer, yes, if you pick the right engines and actually maintain them. The long answer, the myth that any Honda with any engine and any transmission is bulletproof, died with the 2000s. You can absolutely buy the wrong modern Honda for your use type, like a 1.5 turbo with all short trips and long oil intervals. You can also buy a very solid modern Honda, especially the eHEV hybrids and non-turbo models. What I personally would feel good owning long-term in 2026. The Accord Hybrid eHEV, which is comfortable, efficient, and has a strong drivetrain design. The CR-V Hybrid eHEV, a good family SUV with a nice balance of performance and reliability. The Civic, either the 2-liter naturally aspirated or new Civic Hybrid, which are simple, efficient, and proven setups. The Jazz or Fit Hybrid, where available, which offers eHEV in a small, practical package. What I'd be more cautious with: 1.5 turbo Hondas used exclusively for short urban trips in cold climates due to the fuel dilution risk. Older CVT-only Hondas where fluid was never changed, pre-eHEV integrated motor assist hybrids due to battery degradation and weaker hybrid assist. The brutal truth, Honda reliability is no longer a blanket statement. It's a combination of picking the right powertrain, using it in a way it's designed for, and performing basic maintenance on time, not when the dash screams. If you do that, modern Hondas can absolutely still be 200,000-plus mile cars. If you treat a turbo and CVT Honda like a 1998 Accord with a 5-speed, you're gonna have a bad time. If this helped you untangle the myth from the reality, and you want to see this same forensic treatment applied to Toyota, Subaru, BYD, and everyone else, hit subscribe. I'm GearHead. Every brand has a story, and together we're going to keep reading the engineering, not the marketing, before we spend our money.